Michael. The three aspirants and plus the team. Mine, I have some questions that are going direct from our chairman, who is aspiring for the position of chairman. Who is supposed to be Sadas Majok Achere. You were the Secretary General in the autonomy leadership. And what happened to be called Tindas? That was headed by the Daniel Layan, who happened to be the president right now. Last time when you were running for the position, you promised a lot of, you made a lot of promises that you were going to do in the office. I am going to start where you promised last time. One of the things you promised last time was to buy a land and you build an office. That is one of the things that was promised last time when you were asking. But I have not seen the location of our office, and you are the same person asking us now to run for the position of chairmanship. That is the first question. The second question is, you talk, last time you people talk of accountability, but since you were in the office, I haven't seen any serious accountability that was done to the General Assembly or to the agents. Third, you also promised last time you talk of issue of middleman, but that issue has intensified instead of you solving it. Another issue that you promised last time was unnecessary collection from customs, but it is not solved. Lastly, I cannot remember the month, I cannot remember the date. There was a meeting conducted in Peace Valley last time. You promised us that you are having a software that once you make your payment, your money will reflect to your account as a company direct. But since that time, since you promised, I haven't seen that. So you are the person now asking, begging for the fraternity to give you a chance to lead us. Okay, how are we going to believe you that all that you were saying here are going to happen or you are going to do them? Since when you were with Steve Dance, all these four things that you promised were not done. So this is my question to you, and thank you.
President, our outgoing chairman, the team, I'm really happy and full of joy that we are having something nice today. The team, MDK, I'm really grateful for everything, all the effort that you're putting in. I can say congratulations. You are not talking about that you don't have a candidate that is going against you. In terms of these elections, we could be fair enough to let someone who's down there to be aware that you're actually on the run alone. So I will not go back to the points that have been mentioned by the previous people that were here before. Mine to be something to do, to talk of two things, which is protection and elevation. People have talked more of protection, and there's also elevation. My question is actually going to the entire team, which is the chairperson in particular. Chairperson, yes. Because the team is actually run by the chairperson. So my question, how will you be dealing with the external forces that hinder or affect the clearing agents when it comes to decision making? I would like to put more emphasis on this thing. There will be a time whereby innovation will really come and it will surely affect even the clearing agents. And I have a feeling that you will not be in a position and willing to accept, or you will be saying there's influence from the external force that could be someone who is actually powerful that makes decisions out of our own leadership. Are you ready to accept all the consequences that occur that could affect you at that moment when that time comes when you are trying to manifest or try to apply the new changes that will come in? So I don't know whether you have got my point of question. It's clear. So thank you so much. I would like to stop here.
From National Career. So me, I would like to ask some questions. Basically, what has been highlighted here by the chairman and our president. My first question is going to the president. President, we have talked about 4 hours reimbursement of our agent fee. I wanted to ask a question. The question is, Capital Pay or Crawford is the service provider that whenever you have applied for your agent fee, that the one reversing our agent fee, then will come and pay us. So the question is, you have talked about the 4 hours reimbursement of the agent fee. What are the criteria that you are going to use for you to get our agent fee done? Since you are not the immediate person paying our agent fee, you are the second-hand service provider for us. That's one. Another thing is the issue of the middlemen being spoke by our incoming chairman. I can say, our incoming chairman, you are one of the persons working with middlemen as we're speaking. And I don't know which criteria are you going to use, since you are one of them working with the middlemen and we have not stopped them from working with you. Which criteria are you going to use to make the middlemen to stop from working from agents? That's true. Thirdly, it is about the women empowerment. Me, I always like emphasizing on empowerment of women. If I've forgotten, you are one of the people who have been emphasizing on qualification issue. And as we're speaking now, there's no women among this team of yours. The reason being is we are not qualified enough to be among you football. So what I wanted to know from you, what are the empowerment procedures that you are going to use in the next coming election, so that next time when we go for election like this, you will have women among you, so that the equality is balanced, seeing we are not qualified to be here. Thank you.
Leadership, incoming leadership, even everyone. I have 2 burning questions you might have had. I'm Daniel Dow. I'm working with Dynamic Vision. I want to ask the treasurer, when you guys were speaking, I wasn't here, but I've been having these questions to ask you. So, how will you ensure transparency in the association's finances and operation? I don't know if you talked about it before, but I want to know, because we have had so many leaderships that have come in, others have gone. I don't know if there's any way you guys have been transparent about our finances, but I've never had. So as the incoming leadership now, what do you guys have in mind? Or what have you guys planned for the association? How are you guys going to be transparent about our finances? Because that's the most important aspect of this association. Secondly, the second question. Reason why associations are formed. It's for the betterment and growth of everyone. But this association, I want to ask, let me not talk about the established companies that are already existing, that are already strong. But what about the upcoming companies, the young companies, the young clearing agents? What do you guys have in mind to build them? Yes, you have had conferences, you have had teachings, you have had maybe other things. But what do you guys plan for these upcoming companies? Because one thing I know is companies die every year here in Nimue. And if companies die every year, what is the use of our association? It was for everyone. Okay? So as the incoming leadership, what do you guys have in mind for the upcoming clearing agents and for the upcoming companies? Thank you.
I have one question to ask from our chairman. So I think the issue of middleman, most of you guys are talking about it, but I'm not seeing the improvement on it. Because those agents you are seeing here, there's some senior clearing agents, they're not working in the field now. Because there's some desperate boys who work for 10 minutes. So I want you to that's the first point of what you need to work on. So if you will manage to do that, I think all of us will succeed. Thank you.
Just right. I only have one question. And the question is going direct to the finance. When you see in your office, every time you find even our relatives from our villages, they are coming to look for assistance. Since it's our own money, how are you going to handle those issues? And when you take among some desperate agents, when they go for the assistance, they don't get that help. How are you going to handle that? Thank you.
The protocol remain observed. And by name, Alak Michael, most of my colleagues have put across most of the things. I'm a manager for Angola, and I'm also having my team.
Thank you. This is the next one.
So, to be precise, most of the things were on protection, how we raise standard. I think those were two agendas. Protection has been the pillar of those of Salas. Salas has been there since last 2 terms or 1 term. So protection, people have talked of. We forget about time frame. You need to assure us. What will you do in these few months? Because we know you talk of protection, we pay protection fees. If you are to correct it now, it is okay, we give you a chance. But what time frame should we go with? Most of the things about how we raise the standard. I was confused because how we raise standard for agent is more. It is not in one direction. I was thinking, you think that you are going to increase the agent fee? That's one. Two, why are you going to check on how this 140 has been, it is 250, it is reduced 145. So why are you going to check on the contract of Saka or Cranford, or how will you raise the standard? So we should know on where you will increase. Because most of us here, we are working. And at the end of the month, you go home empty-handed. So you need to clarify more, and thank you.
In the interest of time, I want to thank the speaker for giving me the privilege to stand on this podium. My name is Hakim Manas. I work with Laura and Sons. My question goes to all of them. Actually, the Sakapa Constitution clearly states that once a candidate is declared unopposed, must be declared a winner and must be sworn in as soon as possible. Why then are you allowing yourselves to go for vote when you know that you're already a winner? Isn't that a sign of negligence already?
We have a vote on both sides. How much
excited to think what we are doing here. I'm happy. I think the outgoing and coming team. But I want to put one word across. The first question direct. A new team coming in now. Do you accept it? To protect all the entirety industry of Nomile, where we started from? Why I say this? We are facing a lot of challenges. One, this word of if we bring you in, we vote you today, and you accept to work with us. Tomorrow when you started your work, you go, you do your own thing aside, alone. The moment you come in, you come and you deceive us. Hey, what I brought here is what we have talked about, is the reality. And there is something down which is not being predicted already, is already, and you close off. Will those things will not be there any longer? Because we need a growth. We need a reality. Because I see the future of leadership with you people. I'm an elder and a senior either. I tell the truth, openly. And that's the only word I ask for.
Young politician, woye. Aku yang nama buat diskusi. Kawan, anak maga di KPCS, dia jadi aja mana. Local jadi ada itu regional bank. Silas, jauh region Bangazar jauh. Anak gari student kira nak kaman region apa namanya? Brother Kennedy. Kawan ma bitrika janam jadi jurnas tani bara jadi di kulit dari sini. Kalau mana dari kulit manifesto, ma biaja buat itu, ma biaja bori region ini. That position. That's we are tired of this manifesto of yours. The manifestos are not working. All you people, you work for 4 years and you achieve nothing. Okay, you go for you. Don't sit on it for you. You didn't get your way. So let us just give them chance to work.
The question was how and fast. I'm going to answer it in 2 ways. This 24-hour reimbursement management work the treasurer department and my managing chairperson and the SG, we are not going to solely rely on waiting for funds from this. We have plan, make a budget plan to see that we have enough finance in our system. As we continue waiting for the refund, we are able to do a payment of 2 to 3 days in advance. Daniel, how to ensure transparency? I believe you're a manager. To a certain level, at times you may send your field officers to the field, try to give them something, and send them to do some payment that you are aware of. When it comes back, see, is he really going to give you the exact figure that he paid, or is going to happen? The moment he lied to you, that means he's eroding the trust that you're giving him. So by bringing this point of transparency, we are going to handle it in 2 ways. To ensure that we have a really financial reporting, and we report this to school. We have to report to the General Assembly to see how we run our financial activities in the office. Because this money does not come from us, it comes from you. We have to report to people. Then secondly, we have to also put our books in order, that we call it the open book system, whereby even if you bring an auditor from outside, the auditor has to find that we have a clean system in the office. That one, I say, is the transparency. The third question was from my sister. how we are going to regulate the issue of assistance. You see, for us, the Christian, we say the hands that gives. The what? The hands that gives. Yeah, that one is a blessing. But of course, as a treasurer, I don't have the capacity in my place. Reach out to whoever that comes for help in the office. I always advocate for social corporate that there are those who are going for help in need. And this help must be a discussed help that comes from all the management team, not the treasurer alone. Thank you.
I'm going to make an attempt on your questions. I call it an attempt because the answers that I will give may not be satisfactory according to your own standard. I will begin with the first one. What do you guys have to keep the young companies existing? Once you open a company, and I believe that's why you have your money, there is a part that you are supposed to control. In fact, the major part of your company. The association does not run your company. That's just a fact. Let's accept that fact. The only part that will take as leadership is to make sure you are not treated unfairly by the government authorities. That's our part. But the major part, holding your cash and all this, that's your only part. For example, what is the name of your company? Fast Choice. As I speak to you now, I don't know the cash or the money in the account of Fast Choice. Even the assets, I don't know. And those are the major components of a company. On our side, it's only a minor part of the thing. We advocate for fair treatment or equal treatment of our companies. That's the protection we do. You should not be treated unfairly. Otherwise, the running of your company is your own. That's just a fact. External forces. This is a very big issue. Even as we speak now, the agents who have cases already, others at CID, others at police here, and others in court. As a member of the fraternity, if you know that you have done something wrong, for example, you are involved in forgery, due to some factors, you are pushed by middlemen or another factor. The mother or your protector, the place to run to is the association, suppose. But some of you, in fact, not some of you, most of you ignore that. You prefer to bribe some of these junior bureaucrats that you just remove me from this case and all this. And they will continue to extort money from you. So they look as their clients that provide them with money. And even sometimes our agents are innocent. But because you have created a gap between you yourself as a company with the leadership, that's why such things are happening. Now they talk. You cry from the beginning. Then we not pay commerce. And even you do final for 620. You see how you are harming even the leadership. Your own association, which is supposed to get $20 from your 620, is already losing because of your action. But go and cry, you will not pay. Now you will go and do that forgery. Who has done the forgery by the way? It's not you, just be honest. It is you who has been pushed. And sometimes, if you refuse, they will take from me. You're going to give to command. I'm describing external forces.
If they take to come and, after you have declared your goods, instead of coming to the leadership, you decide to run to your uncle who is a CID. You see, it's you inviting them. They don't come on their own. They are my uncle Daniel, my client so and so wants to take it. That CID officer or a national security officer will not think like a businessman or a agent. He will decide to use his arm, use his force. Come on, that is not the. They will call the person, go and get this person. You are summoned to CID because there is a double declaration that has happened. Your client has been taken with other person. So this is how they come in. This is how the external forces come in. Lastly on that, on the external forces, let me give you an example of our 2023 elections. In our 2023 elections, we had everything in place. The IEC was in place. The subcommittee of the IEC was in place. The security committee attached to the IEC was in place. We had about nine members from the security branch. Because Galwak said, instead of security jumping into the affairs of the decision anyhow, let me form a security committee and I attach it to the IEC. That security committee was attached to us, the IEC. Some clearing agents here, you, decided to go and invite another security to come and interrupt the whole thing. So most of these external forces normally come here on invitation of our own elements. So for us to avoid these external forces, it's our collective responsibility to make sure they are not invited without a purpose. They should always be invited for a purpose. That's what I can say. Sometimes agents, when normally go to the extent, say, do you know how much is in our South Africa's account? Do you know? Sort of money. Right now we have about $2 billion in the savings account. Not knowing that money is your $145, $300 for that one, just like that. It is that amount that amounts to that $2 billion. It's not for the association. Now, they will say, okay, young green agents are just moving around here, they will want to have $2 million in their accounts. You see the wound you have opened, unnecessary wound, for no reason. You are inviting negativity. That is how they come. They don't come on their own. They come on your invitation. That was the attempt. The first one was the down. The third one is Hakim Manas. Why are you people going for voting? Yet the Constitution talks of declaration of candidates unopposed. That's a very good question. As Team MDK, we are the aspirants. We don't determine. We are not a determining factor in the electoral process. Whether they will declare us unopposed in which form, it is them, the IEC, that has the responsibility. In line with the Constitution. Not really from the audience. If they say tomorrow, because we will receive the updates in our group, if they say that the Constitution talks of declaration of unopposed without voting, and they will quote, I believe, the Constitution, we'll go with it. If they say the Constitution talks of people going for voting before declaration, we'll go for that. But if we also engage them, that will be direct interference with the work. We cannot do that. So it lies in the hands of the IEC. They are like Michael or like Rangaroy. Raising the standard. Raising the standard should include the increment of agency. That's how I got your message. That is very correct. In fact, very correct. we have had meetings concerning that. Our money is 250. And the agent's fee, the money that you receive, is $145. Agents have been asking, where is the other portion of the money going to? The office has been explaining until a committee was formed. I believe that was around October 2023. I was a member of that committee. Young Michael here was a member of that committee. Jalom here was a member of that committee. And some of you here, whom I might have not seen, were members of that committee. We went to Crawford, face to face like this. Those are Garamani and plus the rest, most of us were members of the General Assembly. By that time, Niall was not in the executive. I myself was also not in the executive. Silas Majo was also among us. There was Silas Majo and Jaru in the executive. We talked about what Alak has just talked about. I'm trying to bring a reference. When we went there, because from our 250, Crawford is taking 80 USD from our 250. We asked them as members of the General Assembly, why are you people taking 80 USD from 250? It means the money is yours. We are supposed to give you $50 or $20 or $30. They explained themselves. They said we have money. And if you guys, listen carefully here, and if you guys are threatening us that we have taken your 250, we have taken your $80, okay, we may change the name, we remove that name, we put another name, and that 250 will remain in our system, we'll collect it. And you see how you can go and collect your own 250 in your own way. Where will you get the system? They say, in our presence. So we were vulnerable. That's the right word to use. That's just a that was really power at play. Yes. Yeah. We are doing you a favor by giving you this a lot of money. We should be giving you even $30. That's what they say. So we talked as South Sudanese. Because all of them are South Sudanese. They said, okay, we have understood your problem. What we are going to do, you increase the money. That's what they say. Instead of 250, you take it to 500 or 400. We objected. We said, 500 USD will affect the market. What? They said, okay. Is it you who is taking care of the market of South Sudan? That you clearing agents, you are overstepping. That you are protecting the market of South Sudan. Are you sure? Okay, you go and do something that you can do. But we will come and implement it. Go and increase it. If you think your $145 is small, go and do the increment. Enforcement is ours as Crawford. That's what they say. The General Assembly was called here and the money was proposed to 300. We added 50, but not yet implemented. Not because of them, but I believe because of us here. So there is already a plan to implement the increment. That's one. Finally, I want to say thank you to all of you, especially my brother Yai, who is always doing checks and balance. Recently in Uganda, the elections of our honorable members of Parliament of Uganda, a very serious MP, very vocal, lost the election.
Our manager for MDK, I want to say thank you so very much for the question asked. It's not because you have put the questions to be only asked by six people. I would have said that we should have allowed every person to ask questions. First thing first, I'm the outgoing Secretary General. And as outgoing Secretary General, I have
all the information of what we have done during our term. And I am not in any way afraid to answer any question regarding our administration. I will not also be stubborn to refuse to acknowledge where we have failed. First and foremost, 2023 we promised transformation. We promised clear energy to sustain what they have, especially the agent fee. When I came to the office, the $250 being charged by the clearing agent fee was 3 months in operation. For 3 months in operation. So when we took over, we make sure that we sustain that despite several challenges that come on the way. We also promised regional integration, coordination with the government agencies. We also promised amendment of the Constitution and addressing internal conflict within our organization. We promised acquisition of lands for our association. And I can tell you, your friends in here, that we have achieved 90% of our manifesto. Let me start with the Constitution. In June 2023, we start going to Juba and meet our former leader, Deng Deng. By the time we went to meet Deng Deng, the manner of association used to be paid through custodial holding. Those who are in former administration can testify to that. I went in, I say, no, this is an organization. An organization like ours cannot transact or eat official businesses through a private company. It has to be through our association account. I and our chairman, we traveled to Juba and we asked Deng Deng, who had been having conflicts with the former administration, to lead that and open a new phase and give us a constitution. That constitution allowed us to open the association account in Didonia. Whoever who is asking about transparency and accountability, all our finances are transacted through our official accounts, be it membership fee, be it agent fee, or office operation cost. They are done through our official accounts. That's the first thing. In July, on 15th, in Fish Valley, a 15-man committee was formed to review our constitution. And I happened to be the Secretary General of that committee. We review our constitution. On our 9th December 2023, our constitution was adopted, becoming the first amendment since 2018. And this amendment happened to legalize our agent fee and our operations. Subsequently, we find ourselves in conflict between Juba administration and Nimble administration at the time, which we resolved by April 2025. And by that resolution, our constitution was accepted by the Chief Registrar on 24th June 2024. Yes, 2024. Bringing calm internal conflict within our organization was addressed, ushering in new administration, headed now by our president, whose elections was done on 16 December 2024. Members, I'm talking of constitutional process and how we open our account for the first time. And this was done with the involvement of myself and the Secretary General at the time. That's part of our manifesto, and we have achieved it. If you are not following us, I want to declare to you that we have achieved that thing. When it comes to issue of agent fee, someone has asked, you promise us that you will be paying people, that you have a software. We promise. If you are having a company, they talk of African Bank or Cooperative Bank. There's a system in the bank that link all your employees with your company account. If it comes to a specific period of time, let's say on the 30th, if you are supposed to pay your salaries on April 30th, the system is set in the bank that if there's money in the account, the salaries will be deposited straight, automatic payment into the accounts of your staff. It does not need you to do the authorization. Some of you who are doing this one, I believe you are family out there. I made consultation before I made that promise. At that time, 2023. We consulted with KCB and we consulted with Equity Bank, and they promised that these things can be done, and that's why I promised. However, when we made a serious follow-up with our service providers, it was brought to attention that the account which is used for collecting our revenues is a block trusted account. And a block trusted account cannot have a subsidiary account created already without government regulation, legislation. We were advised by our service provider that the only way your clearing agent can be paid straight is through what is called wallet banking. Some of you who are dealing with Equity Bank, I believe, you are familiar with that one, and there's what is called IBAN, KCB. They say if your clearing company is often a merchant account, capital pay merchant's account, this merchant's capital account will be linked with the clearing company's accounts. And then we say, how will they get their money? They say that there must be a capital pay bank normally, because capital pay is a one of the bank. If you look into the 13th commercial bank contracted by South Sudan Revenue Authority, capital pay is one of the banks, it's an online bank. And then we say, how will they get their cash? Because most of clearing agents, they need cash. They say that's what we cannot guarantee, unless they will be coming to Europe. And here, this is how we fail to find what we refer to as swing payment. And as you speak, there's no promise like that one. I can use this word we had failed in our manifestos. And then there is a question about the land. When we were complaining, our president, now who was the chair at that time, had already acquired the lands. 2023, on the 2nd of March, he entered into agreement with Pastor Beverly to purchase the land. By the time we were doing open campaigns, in now the border police office, yes, there was already agreement between Pastor Beverly and the SSFA to purchase that land because it is a community land. After we won, we paid half of the payment. The initial agreement was $70,000. This $70,000, $40,000 was paid as a prepayment, expecting to make the completions after the border police evacuate the land, because the land is a private land. After we won, some of you here who opposed us after winning went on to infiltrate the border police, and border police refused to evacuate the land. This made it very difficult for us to do it, and in several general assemblies that we have conducted since 2023 to the last one which we conducted in November last year, we have been updating you that the association has acquired land and we're in the process of completing. This became very difficult, and because it's part of a promise, we had a settlement with the Pastor family for an alternative land. Many of you who had attended our last General Assembly were informed by a chairman that the land behind Smarket and just next to KS Hotel is association land, and that land was bought at the cost of $55,000. It has 12 rooms, and then the 7 waste rooms. This is the land, and we actually announced it on our the last. I mean, let me talk of November General Assembly, which we conducted in this place. It was discussed, and several questions were asked, and we made a clarification. And I can say someone like a Jing was there. I remember he asking questions about that. To you who have not been attending our General Assembly, I believe that's why it is a surprise for you to ask where the association has acquired land and where is it located. So we had acquired land at the cost of $55,000, and the location is what I've just put. So this land is a land already with instruction, and maybe it is our interest to see if we have enough funds, we can demolish what is there and put something appropriate. And if we don't have enough funds, we can continue from where the person who built it put it into a better structure. Concerning accountability and transparency, I've talked about accounts. Members, in the Constitution it says, all of us, we are accountable and must be transparent. This is what we are transparent and what we should be accountable for. It's membership fee. Membership fee is a contribution of the members to the association. That is both subscription and renewal. And then there is this operation cost that you are financing to the association, because it is the association that creates an idea of you having an agent fee online. The 25, let me put it as 25 because the office charges are always accounted on the office, is both national and also the local here. Our national office have its own, which is going straight, and what is coming to us is coming straight. The operation cost, of course, we should be accountable for it, and many of you are aware, during the 2022 establishment of this agent fee, we had an agreement those days, and those of Jarul will have to be blamed. When we agreed on $250, I and Jing and Dinky were among the General Assembly members who critiqued this process so that it is put in a right way. We know how our 250 has been distributed on all the stakeholders. This is the same accountable to what is remaining at the operation cost. It covers stakeholders, it covers office operation, and it also covers the service to the clearing agent. We have been having annual report every year. To some of you, maybe you don't take notes of whatever we are doing to our members or how we are reporting. We have done actually we have done report in the last 12 months. In June 2024, we did the report after we have discovered many of you were involved in fraud. This report was presented here, and it has shown the office operation cost, the stakeholders, and what we are doing as service to the clearing agent. It was done here. And then in November last year, we had a report which was tabled here by our finance secretary, and I myself was sitting there, detailing how all these things were done. When we talk about accountability and transparency, this was not a report that we were just doing in form of paper like this. We are projecting so that figures are seen. Our administration had been upholding the spirit of transparency and accountability. Not only on ourselves, including you, because we hold you accountable, when none of you were involved in fraud. As we speak, our station has a deposit close to $300,000, and of course we have recovered close to $500,000 in the two major incidents of fraud, where some companies continues to bypass the payment of the agent fee to create losses to our partners and the office operation cost. This has been accountability, and we'll be doing on both sides. you are not only holding office accountable for that, we are also holding people accountable for that. So there has been a transparency and accountability for that matter. Now, if it is a matter of now, and what I have to do next, yes, the office is supposed to do a report whether monthly or annually or whatever we dictate, or quarterly. As you have heard before from a finance or treasurer, it is a clear responsibility of us if the first strategy did not work to the satisfaction of our members, because the contribution coming to us is mainly you. This is a fair contribution you are giving us. If you guys think that this annual report are not serving our members, and then we can opt to monthly report, or quarterly report, or weekly report, whatever we think deem fit, to show you how we are running the office. And it's my recommendation to the finance that we are getting a new person coming in place, and also Secretary General, to make sure that our reports are given monthly or quarterly, whatever we deem fit. This will give you confidence that what you are giving to the office is given out and is for this purpose. So this is what I can say about accountability and transparency. On the issue of middlemen and unnecessary collections, I think it has been asked by almost 3 people. I will answer it one. First, there's a question about you work with middlemen, how are you going to deal with them? That's good. Yes, I work with middlemen. I work with 2 middlemen. This is how I work with them. One, I make sure that my interest is 100%. By making sure that agent fee is paid. And I'm among the first people that make sure that our respect to the association, because this is a contract between us and our service providers, 620 is paid. In my company, it is been paid in my own account. It is me who paid it. That's the first thing that I do with those middlemen. 2, I make sure that I'm not pushing anything. I have to go to the government, negotiate with them, and whatever they leave to me is what I will ask him to pay, and I have my fair shares because ours is commission. We don't have salary with the government. This is how I work with them. I don't work with middlemen making sure that I go and grab from you, because I've had several of you have been talking that Silas is grabbing clients. I wish someone from Mathiang is here, who work with Mathiang Global. You get up. Yes, thank you so much. This guy worked with Mathiang. Last year in January, I happened to interact with one middleman. I cannot remember his name. Anyway, because we just met twice. This guy went and met with one of the custom officers. This custom officer went and talked with him in a certain way, I don't know. He called my staff. And this guy, because we are friendly with him, he said that let this guy handle these 2 papers of mine. The guy went on to handle the papers and release them. And by that time, I was actually 5 months older with my company, because you guys remember I worked with DNF before I started my own company. So my staff went and released the papers. The following day, he brought a lot of papers. And none of you were aware, I've been putting much of my time organizing my office. When I came a week later, I found that the consignments have increased almost to 4. And papers are becoming more than 10. And then I wonder what's happening. I called the guy, I said, why are you getting all this? And this is a fuel consignment. He said, I have my client in Juba who gave me the work. I said, please, if this guy is a middleman, let me know. He said, no. Someone called me from Juba. I said, okay, no problem. Now this is a company, I need my stamp piece. And you're also using my stamp. He said, what do you want? I said, give me $50. Because this is my stuff, and you are the one dealing with, you are paying everything. Give me $50. He agreed, because you're using my stuff. So every truck, I charge $50. $20 for stamp, and my stamp running, you give me $50. Something he agreed, and it's a fair deal. We went on. So the payment could be made through my account. Then one of my colleagues came. He approached me. He said, Silas, Akwe, your brother, is complaining that you have taken his client. I said, how? He said, that's true. I say, okay. I have been treating Akwe for that course of almost a month. And Akwe is just behaving in a very funny way. Then I called Akwe, and Lake Daniel was my witness. I called Akwe, I said, Akwe, what's the problem? Akwe explained to me. They said there's no problem. I said, no, you tell me there's something that I'm hearing. He said, Silas, you have taken my clients of you. I said, okay, yes, there are fields I'm handling, but I'm not the one who handled them. There's someone. I tell him the name of the person. He says he's my cousin. I said, since he's your cousin, please, you and your cousin, let's meet in my office later. I called them, we meet in my office. I said, please, I'm a leader, and I'm fighting these people called middlemen. It's not in my interest to disadvantage my brother in the expense of a middleman because of what he's doing. I asked him, how much are you giving? How much is middleman taking from you? He says he's taking 70. Now 70 plus 50 is 120. That means what is remaining with him is $25. I said, I'm sorry for that one. You call for the middleman. We called the middleman. We said, I asked, what's the problem? Why are you leaving Akwe? They said, Akwe had delayed my truck, and of course Akwe was using an exemption, and then the center today, the government was cut, was not allowed to operate. They said, he hold my truck for close to 3 weeks, and that's why I want to change it. I said, I don't want that. I gave back all the 4 consignment, and I told him, I don't want this. If you want to come back to me, you come back next year, which was year 2025. You come back, 2026, this year, and I'm not giving you anything. I will take my agent fee, and if you pay all the custom duties, I will be free with that. If it is not affecting Akwe, if I benefit, it's okay. I return all the consignment. Now, why do I have to narrate this one? Why do I bring the name of Akwe? I don't want to mention the customers, and why I don't even want to mention the name of the consignee is the fact that many of you have been having a worry that Silas is competing with people. Yes, I'm one of the people. If I'm not a clearing agent, in fact, I cannot even contest to be the chairman. But I cannot compete with you with the middleman. I cannot take a work from any of you here, from a middleman. But if I meet with the direct owner of the wood, and we set a term that is fair to my company, I have to do it because I need business. I don't want to depend on your agent fee so that will sustain me. So I want to say, my sister, my strategy is very clear. What we are going to fight the middlemen is not because they are foreigners. We are going to fight them because they are even taking our own commission. We are turning to them. This is what they want. If they say tomorrow that all the agents will get the agent fee commission and they will be stealing from the government, in fact, I cannot even protect the government because custom officers are there and it's happening there, economic security there. I can actually say, let's pay for the government. But if they are giving our fees, and then that's not a problem. If you misbehave with your middleman and he's coming to give me all without taking back anything, I'm ready to take it. That's the reality. So I have never had that interest. Middlemen, we have a clear strategy. The strategy is we'll use legal and even illegal ways if it is possible to make sure that we deal with them. Legal or illegal ways, whatever it takes, we have to make sure that this year we are going to fight them. Because they are a threat to us, even to the government. So I think I will not have good negotiations with them. Even though I'm supposed to be like Donald Trump, I will be bombing them like Iran. Yes, I will be bombing them like Iran. Yes. So, for that matter, you should not be worried about what I will do. Women empowerment. Yes, my mother is a woman. And there has always been a belief that Silas does not respect women or does not promote them. That's a lie. In fact, the mother of my kids now is a woman. I love women. And ladies have been having a feeling like that. In fact, I want to give people to have a higher standard. I have been advocating about, but we don't say we don't need women. We need women where they can do the best. When I formed my campaign team, I formed them with the considerations the time and commitment is needed. If I had to bring you into my campaign team and you lead with Jaro, you would be needed to stay out up to 12. How are you going to deal with your husband for that matter? How you should be, you have kids. That's the reality. That's why we are not putting ladies to the competing, but you've been contributing now. Coming here, do these things. We acknowledge that. We have been with Edina. I am president. We call her Mama, showing their respect. So the women empowerment should be something this administration will advocate, making sure that every company, and I will start my own company soon, I will have a lady. Empowerment of the women should be both economic and also political. And in the economic aspect, because we are a private profit-making organizations, we have to make sure that women are promoted. But when it comes to leadership, yes, ladies will be needed. They will actually be part of the administration. But there's always a challenge where people will be having a complaint. It is training. There are conditions set always, like JICA recently, when they were calling for people, they were setting a minimum of diploma for other things, for other training. They were setting conditions of certificates, like Singapore, soft degrees. And if a lady cannot afford that, there's nothing that I can do at all. I cannot go and bring any other lady. If there's no lady within us here who has that qualification, automatically another man will take it over. This is where such issues are needed. For example, if there's no lady who has a bachelor's degree, and maybe the chances for the ladies to contest for the chairperson. So can we say that because it's a chance of ladies, then we give them without a bachelor's degree? No. Men will take over because the constitution did not specify male or female, just any candidate. This is where the issues of qualifications come in. And I wanted you to take it from me today that I'm not against women. If at all what I've been doing is something pushing you for higher standard, you go to school. Educate yourself. Educate yourself, because what a man can do, women do is better. So you go and educate yourself. Yes, external forces, my Secretary General has answered it clearly. Let me just put a clear statement here. When we were faced with the issue of licensing, we came to know that sometimes we need to be brave enough to face some problems. I, among others, accept and we declare a strike, stopping work for 3 days. This is external, I think, external factors that we were saying before. How can we deal with them? You guys have seen several times that sometimes I cannot back down on what I believe is true, including when with you later on. We called for a strike, were threatened to be arrested, and we stood our ground. We achieved some of the issues, like there was a book in Tarek those days, if you guys can remember. I and Kamal Lino went there. Basically, we say that today, if that book is brought back again, we will fight. Okay? So I'm not encouraging that we will be using violence, but sometimes we will stand firm in making sure that we defend our industry against external factors which we deem fit, unnecessary. So he actually put it clearly, and I will not be emphasizing much on it. He is having corporate sexual responsibilities. Some of you might have studied sexual studies and rural developments and other things. Every organization like ours must make sure that there are some of the things it helps, like a sport. There's a relationship between us and those who are in football. I've seen also, we had, in our previous administration, there was a support extended by ASPA to Fuller Secondary School. So these are some of the things that we actually can do. Our session will continue to offer support to initiatives that we deem they're important to promote our name as clearing agent because there's where we come from. Some of us are from education backgrounds. They need also to show that they still have education. When it comes to assistance is always there. But our office, in our term, the reason why we stopped giving some assistance through loan, let me emphasize on it, was because some of you refused to refund the money. In 2020 to 2023 terms, majority of the people did not pay funds that they had borrowed from the office. And which became the reason why the association was holding payments of any loans that have been requested in the association. This money, they are meant for our operations. They are meant for initiatives like the land that we have acquired, we need to build it. We are going to try this step, making sure that those who seek loans will do it through SACCO. And our national office is making sure that SACCO is established. And since normally it's the highest number of clearing companies, we make sure it's established from here. You will borrow or you will be assisted through our SACCO. In the SACCO, it will be like a loan, and that loan will have a time frame so that you pay it. So if you fail to pay from the other side, you may come and recover from the agent fee because we have a recovery plan. So those things will be played this time, and we'll see how we will help those who are in need. On the question of protection and time frames of dealing with middlemen, including the issue of agent fee, I think our Secretary General have mentioned it clearly about the issue of agent fee. It is in the file. Any times, if we find a good opportunity of increasing agent fee, we will increase it because understand that some of the issues then they need you people to have enough money to sustain the operation. Let me talk of the time frame here. Immediately, and I really put it in a good time. Within 3 months, I really wanted us to have seen serious engagement on the issue of middlemen. That's the first thing that we have to tackle. And we'll start on our first 90 days. We have already started the initiation.